Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from here in Nairobi. To all my good followers, recent subscribers, watu wote, hi. The other day I was just looking at my statistics and YouTube tells me that most of my people who follow me are in Kenya, followed by America, people who watch my videos, followed by Qatar for some reason. I don't know if it's Qatar nationalities or Kenyans in Qatar, but those are the three leading countries that follow my content. So today I'm gonna be talking about something a bit sensitive. I'm going to be mentioning religion. I'm going to be talking about myself. I'm going to talk about triggering issues. So if you have a small heart or if you have issues, you can just stop watching from now, because I might talk about sensitive issues around religion, death, what have you. But if you want to continue, we can just continue and teach each other. So for those who are new in Kenya, have not been to Kenya, have not been watching news in the last 10 days or so, there's a big story that is happening. It is about, we can call it a massacre, we can call it death. Obviously, the police will tell us more about how the Kenyans who are dead ended up being dead. But basically, it all started with some famous, or is it infamous, pastor, cult leader called Paul Mackenzie. He had a church shrine someplace in Malindi, Kilifi, a place called Shakahola. In that place, he had a religious formation. I'm sure it's called Good News International or something. In that religious formation, he had managed to get a lot of Kenyans to go. It is said that most of the Kenyans who went there left their families never to return. They sold all their properties and give him the money. But certainly it's an evolving topic, and I'm sure the police will tell us more together with the law enforcement. But that is not even the issue. The issue is, of all the Kenyans who have been rescued alive, they are not alive because they are very sickly. Is because the pastor had told them to fast and to pray and to just not eat for like 40 days so that they can meet God. So most of those who have been rescued, they are so sickly, you can tell they are doing very badly. And then there are those, the worst part is that they are mass graves. Like one grave has like 4 people or something. Is that the recent media report that I watched? I want to believe that around, I don't know, 60, 70 people, but the numbers are adding, more numbers are, are being shown. So it's a developing story. It has attracted international media. Even the cabinet secretary in charge of interior, his name is Kindiki Kithure, has also pronounced or talked about the matter. A lot of people have talked about the matter. It has revolved from religion to desperation, what have you. So as it is now, the police are still combing the area. It is reported that more people will be found dead, or rather, there are more graves and there are more dead people who are yet to be discovered. So that is a story that about what is happening, and it's so disturbing. You can just tell the desperation and the sadness that issue has left people's families in a very stressful situation. The reason why I've decided to make this video, it is because even as people are condemning the pastor, even as people are condemning and talking about many issues, I just sat down the other day when I was watching the news and I was like, oh my God, when you are desperate, when you are just looking, because by the time you have left your families, you've gone to look for the Lord, you are poor, so you've gone to that place. Maybe in your desperation, you hope that your life will be better. If you are sick, you'll be healed. There are those who go to pray for financial, I don't know what, wanaitanga nyota ya pesa. So maybe there are people who are struggling, they don't have money, so they are praying so that they can get money in their family. This issue of this Pastor Mackenzie and the death is not the first issue that has involved religion and those mysterious beliefs for Kenyans to, to embrace and to sort of go and get teachings and Bible revelation and hope in the Lord. That issue really reminded me of a personal experience. So this is the beginning of the story time. This is a true story, by the way. It happened to me, and that is why I've decided to make this video. Look, I'm not justifying what that pastor did. Obviously, it's very wrong. I'm not justifying anything at all. What I'm saying is that when you're desperate or when you're looking for something that is mysterious, you can do many things. So this is my story. It happened to me. So I think for those who don't know me, and for those who do, I think many people know me, but I can't be sure. So for those who don't know me, or those who don't know me, I'll start with those who don't know me, or you've seen my pictures on Facebook. I happen to be disabled, and I've been disabled since I was 5 years old or thereabouts. And this story involves an experience that happened when I was young that involves religion. So, story time. Once upon a time, in the year 2000, I was in class 4. When I was in class 4 one day, by then we used to live in Kariobangi South. For those who know Kariobangi South, our home was now where there is the market. Kariobangi South, now there where there's a market. Ukiwa kwa market hapo Kariobangi South, opposite there's a courts. After hiyo church ya ACC and S, there next there's a court called Market Court. So we used to live there. In fact, ukiingia Market Court, kwa hiyo gate ya Market Court, ukiangalia left, hiyo kagorofa, I think ni kagorofa ya 1 gorofa or 2. Nyumba yetu ilikuwa, ukiingia kwa gate hiyo gorofa ilikuwa the first door. So I remember very well. So in 2000 I was in class 4. I was in a boarding school. So hiyo time tulikuwa tumefunga for the kama sijakosea ilikuanga April. Ilikuwa hii holiday ya April. Inakuwa ya first time hiyo holiday. Yes, I do remember ilikuanga hiyo, and I think I do remember quite a bit. So one day I was just at home. Tulikuwa tumefunga, so it must have been a Friday. In that Friday, my mom, sijui alikuwa ameenda wapi, alikuwa tu ameenda na huko sijui wapi. So when she came back, she told me, na ujue kuna mahali tutaenda Saturday. It must have been a Saturday or a Sunday, but I highly suspect it was on a Sunday. Nikamuuliza wapi? Tunaenda kuombewa. Nikamuuliza kwa nini? Akaniambia tunaenda kuombewa sababu vile uko hivi mdisabled, tukiombewa utapona, utakuwa unatembea vizuri, Mungu atakusaidia. Wo vitu kaa hizo. Remember, just I want you to picture me. I'm like, in 2000 I was 9 years old, so I'm like very young. So nambo hizo vitu za kuombewa. Remember, I've grown up as a Catholic, so sijaiona hizo, sina hiyo mental picture ya vitu. You know, Catholics, we have our way, unaenda kanisa in the name of the Father. So sijaiona, for those who know how Catholic people do their religion, haikuangi dramatic, with a lot of respect to evangelicals na Protestants. For our Catholic, kudance ni pole pole, salamu za amani, sijui nini, tumsifu Yesu Kristo. So mimi, I do, even right now I can remember how shocked I was. Alafu remember when you're young, utaki kuongea sana usikasirishe parent. Nikamuuliza, tunaenda kuombewa kwa nini? Kaniambia, unajua sasa kuna pastor mwingine anakuja Kenya, ni mzungu, amekuwa akiombea watu, ama sijui aliombea watu wapi wakaanza kutembea. All you need is to have faith. Now mimi hata sijui mambo ya faith ni nini. You know, when you're a child, hata ujui hizo vitu complicated na hizo vitu overly spiritual. Mimi nikakatu. Lakini hiyo kitu ile nisumbua kichwa. Remember, even when I was, the way I am like very inquisitive, I was like that even when I was young. Kwa hivyo sasa tukirudi, na sio tukirudi utakuwa unatembea vizuri. Now at the time, I know you've seen those people, those disabled people who wear a metallic thing in the leg. That's what I used to wear. Nikakaa tu. On that day nakumbuka ni kama nilikuwa nakataa, because haikuwa ina make sense na mimi sikuwa naelewa. And remember, when I was young, I also interacted a lot with hospitals. And part of my interaction with hospitals, a lot of surgeries, I think I've had na huko kama 10. Sasa mimi sikuwa napenda, na anything yenye nilikuwa naambiwa kitu kama hiyo yenye inakaa mysterious, nilikuwa nadhani ninadanganywa so that I can be taken to hospital again. So ni kama nilikuwa nakataa, na hiyo kitu ilini disturb sana. But now that came that day, and I want to believe it was a Sunday, sio Saturday, it was on a Sunday. Kaniambia sasa tutakupeleka kwa huyo pastor mzungu, anaombea watu na tutaenda mapema. Now me, when you are young, una a lot of when you are a child, una a lot of liberty ya kubishana ama kukataa. Comes the day, I want to believe it was on a Sunday. Nikuoga ama nikuoshwa, I think nikuoga. Nikaoga, nikamaliza, and then nikavalishwa tunguo. I remember nivalishwa trouser ya grey. Sio ya grey, ilikuwa trouser ya brown. These trousers zilikuwa za jeans za brown. Sijui ilikuwa inaitwa Safco ama ilikuwa inaitwa aje, but ilikuwa ka trouser ya brown. I'll also never forget that nilivalishwa jumper ya red. Hiyo jumper ya red ilikuwa na kofia. So sasa ndio sisi yao safari imeanza, na hiyo safari tumeanza ni safari ya kwenda Uhuru Park. So who was the pastor? Huyo pastor mwenye alikuwa amekuja Kenya alikuwa anaitwa Benihin, and I think he's alive. That Benihin pastor, I think I'll insert his photo here, his photo, so that you can see. So you've seen the photo, I believe. Sasa mimi ndio huyo, tumetoka Kariobangi South, tulitoka tu asubuhi. What are we going to do? Naenda kuombewa kwa Benihin ndio nipone. Sikuwa najua mambo ya Nairobi sana, Nairobi town, sababu hiyo time tulikuwa boarding nikikuja from school, nilikuwa boarding in Thika town. Tulikuwa tunakuja tunafika Allsops, alafu tukifika Allsops tunakuja hivyo na barabara outering, tunakuja Kariobangi South. For those who know Kariobangi South, so mimi hata sikuwa najua town. So I remember I was so observant. Tukatoka Kariobangi South tukaenda town. Kufika Nairobi town, sasa tukaanza safari ya Uhuru Park. I just remember tukitembea tu. So sasa for now, si obviously najua town now. I can remember sasa tumewekwa Kariobangi South. Hiyo stage ya matatu ni kama na huko downtown, so you can remember as tukifika. Guys, tukafika Uhuru Park. Uhuru Park ilikuwa na watu wengi. Until today, unaona, until today. For those who know me, saizi na kuanga activist, active siasa, up until today, because I remember that crowd. Sijaiona watu wengi hivyo. Even today, hata ikuwa ni rally ya UDA, ni rally ya Azimio, ni rally ya nani, up until today, in my whole life, in my life of seeing crowds, sijaiona crowd kubwa hivyo. So much so that mimi nilipigangwa na mshtuko tu just from the beginning. Kulikuwa na watu juu ya miti, kulikuwa na watu walikuwa wagonjwa, kulikuwa na watu walikuwa na mavidonda, kulikuwa na watu sijui wanakaji, kulikuwa na watu wanaomba. Like, ebu just imagine how shocked I was. Tumeanza saa kufika Uhuru Park, hata kupenya saa kutembea kuingia ndani ya watu. It was a struggle. It was a big struggle. So I remember the sick people, I remember watu wakiombewa, I remember watu wakifanya hizo over religious, ku speak in tongues, and here I was. Now remember, mimi ndo nimeletwa kuombewa because I'm the sick one. Nimeambiwa nikuwe na faith, hata sijui faith ni nini, ndio mimi nakuja kujionea watu. I think the whole time, in that whole instance, job yangu ilikuwa kujiangalilia watu. Ndio huyu mtu. By the way, your story, it is such a serious story that later on we'd learn many stories. For example, kuna watu waliangukanga from juu ya miti wakavunjika jaws. Kuna watu wagonjwa walikufanga because walitolewa hosi kwa ward waletwe kwa Benihin. It was just drama, and I think I was just in the middle of that drama. And for those who are adults in the year 2000, I'm sure you just remember when Benihin was in Kenya. Haya, sasa mimi tukakaa. So the goal, unajua ile goal, like you remember, I think there's a Bible story of the person who said that all they wanted is to touch garment ya Yesu hivi ndio wapone. So I do remember, obviously I might not remember everything, but I do remember that me and my mom sat tuko hapo, and now I really now think I understand my mom, because you know she was also young. Remember, she got me at 20. Sasa mimi nikiwa 9, I believe she was 29. So now nikiangalia miaka yangu, she was also young. Sasa mimi nakumbuka the goal was to make sure tumekaribia huko mbele, to be near huko mbele, kukaribia Benihin. So tulikuwa tunapenya tunakaka. Time inaenda, nasikia njaa. I think at some point nilianza kulia. It was so, kulikuwa na tension, and then I don't know, for some reason, for those who know me spending, there's something about me and crowds. Kukuwa na crowd, I don't know, I feel quite overwhelmed. I've never loved to be very enclosed sana. So the goal was kukaribia ule Benihin. Guys, so I remember at any given time tulikuwa tunasonga, so kukikuwa na kapath tunasonga, the goal being kukaribia huko kwa podium. Sasa I think tulifika kitu saa 4 saa 5. Sasa imekuwa jioni. I've not eaten. Tulikaribianga sasa karibu na podium, na huko majioni karibu usiku. So sasa hizo venye kumeanza kwa usiku, there's so much drama and there's so much things happening. He was just praying for people in wholesale. Oh, you're healed, you're healed, you're healed. But you could tell ni watu wengi wameletwa. It was everybody carrying their extreme sickly person kumleta karibu na the hand of God. Actually, up until today sijaielewa huyo pastor vizuri, but I'm told he's sijui ni from Israel ama anakuanga wa America. I really don't care so much for hizo vitu za my evangelicals. I respect them, but sinanga so much interest na hizo mambo zao mimi. So anyway, what I do remember for sure ni ati kati hao watu waliombewa nilikuwa karibu hapo. I also remember watu wengine walikuwa wanakaa mosically. Sikumbuki akiniekelea mikono, but I remember seeing him, but nilimuona tu hivi in passing because there was so much drama around it. And so ikaendelea, and I want to believe at some point crusade ikaisha. It was like a crusade. Tukaanza kurudi home. So in the course ya kurudi home, I had also seen, nilikuwa pia nimeona a friend of mine, msichana mwingine bado, she was like our neighbor, and walikuwa wamekuja na baba yao or something. Sijui, sikumbuki sana what was happening, but I remember tulikutana mtu familiar with us. So masaa ya jioni, what happened was tulipewa lift na sijui mbaba mgani. So it was now me, my mom, sijui some other people, tukapewa lift. Hiyo lift ilikuwa wapi? Tulipewa lift kwa pickup. And guys, that's how tulirudi home. But I was so disturbed. Based on now what I know now about mental health, stress, and what have you, I want to believe that was my first encounter with stress. But now if I could describe it, I would even call it mental health. Why? Because kwanza kitu ya kwanza niliambiwa have faith. Mungu anakupenda, have faith, utaanza kutembea. And then you start wondering, what is so wrong with me that napeleka kuombewa, yet me I think I'm okay. You know, hizo mambo zote sasa, they were just ringing at the back of my head, you know. So tukarudi, and then my mom told me, usijali, leo ikuwa siku yako, itakuwa siku yako next time. And somehow the story just fizzled out. Now here's the thing. Here are my parents who had unanimously agreed kunipeleka kwa Benihin pastor mwingine hapo nikaombewe. These are parents who had interacted even with modern medicine. Lakini juu wamesikia na huko pastor, and with a lot of respect to them. This is not about them. This is not talking ill about them. I'm just saying, na story yote na hiyo story ya Mackenzie guy. These are parents who had interacted with modern medicine. By the time napelekwa hiyo ya Benihin, I had surgeries that are close to karibu 7 hapo, if I can count the two surgeries, the two mambo tu in the body. But sasa wamefika mahali Oskia, this is a person, I want you guys to understand, this is a person who has interacted with modern medicine. Like me, sasa ameamua kwenda the other way, yeah? Yeah, this pastor, funny pastor people. So anywho, that was my interaction with religion, ya kwenda kuombewa. But what is more, when I look at media reports now, because when I was making this video I decided to Google, kuna watu walianguka from Jamiti wakavunjika mdomo, jaws. There are people who even died in that year, and I'm sure it's the year 2000. And there are people even with more information who had interacted with modern medicine. By the time mtu anawatoa kwa hospitali, obviously it means they have interacted with modern medicine. But now they have decided to come to a pastor because of faith. Pastor ametoka sijui UK, America hata tumjui. Because of what? Because of desperation and because of hope that they'll get better. So let's go back to this Mackenzie people. Obviously, this is an issue that, sina finer details. Obviously, this is an issue that can reveal a lot of many things. I have had speculations, I don't know, that there is an element of organ harvesting. So there could be even criminality element in this issue. So I'm sure our investigators will do their job. But, kwa hiyo tu harakati, there are people who left their homes because they are unwell. There are people who left their homes because they are desperate and they believed that that Mackenzie person is gonna be their savior. They'll get money, they'll get jobs, they'll get an education, the school fees, they will be sick, watapona, because I'm sure there must have been sick people hapo. Good people, me, all I can say is that when you're desperate, you look for anything that is going to pacify you. Ukiumwa na kichwa, even though you are well educated, like there's a lady of my friend of mine, she's well educated, but nakunyonga tu herbs, utu tu vitu tu hawa watu wanauzanga tu vitu. She's always recruiting me to kunywa sijui tu nini. Obviously me siwezi kubali. So what am I saying? This is a person who has so much knowledge about modern medicine, but because they are desperate for their health, wanakunywa mpaka herbs. Tomorrow, I'm sure, wale watu walikuwa napelekwa kwa ule babu wa Loliondo, some sick grandfather na huko hivyo, there are people who know so many things, wanaamini some grandfather na huko Tanzania kazee, Kenyatta akajui east or west, kanapeana dawa kwa kikombe ndio mtu apone. So to our government, for me, sijui sana, I'm sure we shall be told more about this issue. But for me, I know that as much as kuna watu maybe empowered wali fall into those traps, I'm sure most people who went there, it's because of poverty and because of desperation. Ule mama na school fees, alienda kufunguliwa nyota ndio apate school fees. Some sick people alienda so that they can get well because they believe it's some grandmother wao alikasirika, that's why they are unwell. For those people who went there because is just being desperate, lacking an option, not knowing where to look, for school fees and food. For those who might judge those people, obviously they are being judged, wajinga, what have you. It is easy to do that because we are not in that position. But for me, as a person who has gone to be prayed for, I can just tell you that people are always looking for a solution to their problems. And maybe they look the wrong way. Lakini hizi issues of faith, issues za kusikia, issues za kuokota in the road, these are issues that people believe, and they believe that those things are going, the funny pastor, the what, they are gonna solve all their problems. So, for those people wa huyo pastor wenye wameseviwa how Kenyans, I can just say, if they are your family members, extend some grace. Msiwachongoe sana. Wamekonda, they have not eaten for 30 days because of fasting, fine. Let's extend some grace. It is because of desperation, and desperation can lead to people doing very weird things. When you're desperate, you're desperate because your child is disabled like Wanja, you go to be prayed for by some random white person mwenye ametoka America. When you're desperate because of this, you just hope for the best. If you are the best, itapatikana Loliondo. If you are the best, itapatikana I don't know, Shakahola forest, that's what you go to do. I see this issue of Shakahola forest is an opportunity for the church, mainstream church na church za ukweli, to reclaim their position in society. Shida ya church zetu, and with a lot of respect to evangelicals, but also to the Catholic Association. I'm a Catholic, by the way. And I'm saying this to evangelicals and even to the Kenya Catholic Bishop Secretariat something. The problem with our churches, they decided to focus on a lot of politics na issues kama watoto wasipewe, maybe they are even making fun of vaccination. They forgot to shepherd people in the right direction. Our churches, the real churches, they decided to donate their podium to politicians, to bad people, instead of using their podiums to be places of hope and joy in our hearts. The problem with the modern churches, yani ukisikiza, by the way, since Corona, I'm sure many people have noticed, ni kama imekuwa ngumu kurudi church. Pastor, instead of doing their job of spiritual nourishment, they have decided to do their job of politicking. So, this Shakahola, this problem of Kenyans becoming desperate and doing anything possible, is because hawana hope, na mtu mwenye ana hope anaitafuta anywhere, they are gonna find it. So for me, I see this as an opportunity for us as a society, sisi wote tuketi tujiulize maswali. Hawa family members wetu, why did they go there? What was the void that was being filled in a forest? Hao wenye walikufa, what? The church should ask themselves, you mainstream truthful churches, mbona mlilose watu hadi wanaitikia kwenda kwa forest kukanja? Government, your job is to alleviate poverty, ma scholarships, ma school fees, ma vitu kaizo. People are so poor that wana decide kwenda places kaizo kutafuta school fees na kutafuta hope. Maybe if you focus on your job of eradicating poverty, watu wataacha kuwa that desperate. So guys, that is my story. Me in the hand of Benihin, unfortunately sikupona, but luckily sikukufa. But I know there are people who died due to stampede. Kuna wenye walianguka from kutoka juu ya miti. I've said kuna wenye walikuwa wametolewa Kenyatta, they died. And all that is because of religion, desperation, na watu hope for anything that can alleviate their problems. So I just thought of sharing the story. I know the story, it evolved. There will be so many things that are gonna come out in the next few days. Mine is just to wish everybody well. I think this is also a very stressful time in Kenya. There is so much negative news everywhere. Hata mtu hawezi relax. So if it means not watching news, not listening to my radio and what, I think for our mental health, it is also important for you to protect yourself and take care of yourself. For me, I think it's also for me it has been an important time of reflection, and I hope God can guide us to just think straight and embrace the truest religion that is really God-led. So wishing you all the best. If you see this video, please subscribe to my YouTube. I wish you all the best. And you have any questions or you want to engage this topic, go to the comment section. Bye. Turu. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to share the article of what happened when Benihin came, so that for those who might remember, you just connect the dots. For those who don't, you can Google more about him and his visit in Kenya, and how Wanja was one of his many audience members. Cheers.